Are you a Mac user looking for access to your Tesla from your computer? Well, it turns out there's an app for that. I'm Frugal Tesla Guy, and we're going to get to know the guys behind the app designed specifically for your Mac called Valet. As Tesla owners, we are constantly looking for ways to enjoy all of the benefits our cars have to offer. The native Tesla app is just the tip of the iceberg because if you do a search for third-party apps, you will find a large list of different options. But when it comes to not only seeing the status of your car on your Mac, but also being able to send commands to it, Valet is pretty much the only way to go, at least at this point. Now, it offers many of the features offered in the native Tesla app, such as the basic controls, climate control, sending directions to the car, and even scheduling. And on top of that, the developers have also added a few features the native Tesla app doesn't even offer, which we'll get into a little later. Now, before we go into a complete tour of everything the app has to offer, I wanted to give you all an opportunity to get to know the people behind the app. Take us behind the scenes and tell us what motivated them to develop it in the first place. Then, in a video to follow shortly, they will take us on a guided tour of the app from top to bottom to make sure you know what you're getting. And if you already have Valet, the tour may teach you a few things you may not have known about it. Now, I had an opportunity to sit down virtually with the developers and learned a lot about the app developing process and what it takes to keep it afloat. Hello everyone, I'm Frugal Tesla Guy, and I wanted to do a couple of videos on a new app that I discovered just recently here. Of course, it's been around for a while, but I thought this is a great opportunity for us to do two different ways to present this app. And it's Valet for Tesla. And it's for the Mac. It's not for your phone or anything like that. And it's only Mac. We're not talking anything that is a PC. So this is for Mac users. So with that said, I thought it'd be really cool to start off by just getting to know the developers of the app a bit here. It's always kind of nice to be able to put the people behind the app and really get to know them. And that allows you to really appreciate it more. So on the left, upper left portion of your screen, you've got Jason, and on the to the right of him, you have got Derek. And these are the two developers of the app. So let's start off first and foremost with how it was what, 5-6 years ago you developed this app, and it was mainly just for your own personal use, right?
Yeah, that's right. It was just something we had done some other apps in the past, and we just, kind of threw something quick together because we both worked from home and we wanted to be able to control our car without having to take out our phone, constantly. So we wrote a quick little app. It wasn't pretty. It was just, functional. And that's how it started.
So you guys are basically two guys that work on your computers a lot from home or really anywhere else where you may be close to the car. And you thought to yourself, you know what? I don't want to pull up my phone. I want to be able to do it all from my Mac, right? Is that kind of how it started?
So yeah, I mean, we both just love Tesla. So the fact that you can go control your Tesla remotely was something that we both got really excited by. And we figured, wow, why can't we do this on our Mac? We've got this screen in front of us all day. We've got a menu bar, and I'd just love to see how my car is doing. And can I unlock it really quickly for someone or be able to go send some navigation directions to it? So kind of blossomed from there. And people started saying, hey, can I get a copy of it? And it's been history since then as Tesla's been selling more and more cars. So more and more of our friends are coming into their first Tesla and asking, hey, can I get a copy of that?
So as you, like you say, it was pretty raw in the very beginning, right? Because you didn't really worry about the overall appearance because it was just kind of for your own personal use. So it's probably grown a lot since then, right? And you've made it a little bit more user-friendly, I would assume. So how has it grown from when you just had it for your own personal use to what it is today?
I think the biggest thing was like the concept of waking the car. So when you send a command to the car has to be awake before it will do anything with that command. So when we first wrote the app, we kind of just like had a button to wake the car, and we like kind of waited and checked and like, okay, the car's awake. And like, then we issued a command. And it was just like, standard buttons, no pictures, no graphics. So it was real raw, but it was just like we were doing it for us and it got the job done. Like obviously now down the road, we've cleaned up the UI a little bit, but most importantly, Derek created like a phenomenal back end that like wakes the car, checks, does all that for you, queues up each command that you've sent. So that way, when you unlock the car with one click, all the magic happens in the background and the car just unlocks when it's ready.
Okay.
Like that was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I'm not an app developer. I don't do any kind of coding or anything like that. I can only imagine the amount of work that it takes. So, I mean, just to kind of give people out there watching, what kind of work does it take to put together like something like this together?
Man, it takes a lot of work. So there's a couple different pieces. So one is just figuring out how to go technically make an app and get a Mac app up and running that's high quality. Then there is, as two tech guys, neither of us have a design background. So we have to kind of go figure out, how do you make this usable? How do you make it nice and look professional? And then maybe the most difficult part that's pretty unique is Tesla doesn't exactly publish their API. So the API is what their service backend uses. So there's a bunch of folks in the community that look for new features that come out in the iOS and Android apps. And then a bunch of developers go and try to figure out, how can I use this? So it's been really great to be able to lean on the community with that. And then lastly, being able to really focus on security. It's not lost on us that people are controlling their sometimes $100,000 cars. And that's not exactly something you want to go take chances with. It's a tough choice. Jason and I have debated for months, which is customers are asking for some of these capabilities, but we have to make a choice. And we've got to say, this app is all about security, simplicity, and just being able to control your car from your Mac. If in the future we want to go create something that does more analytics, we're going to do that separately, because we want to make sure we can maintain this customer promise that your data is safe with Valet. And if you want an analytics suite on top of it, there are a bunch of great services out there. So on one hand, I don't know that we need to enter that space. But if we do, we would keep that separate, because it's all about making sure people feel comfortable. So we've been really, really clear from the start, even for ourselves. We don't want any of your data. So Valet captures none of your data. Nothing gets sent to any servers of ours. In fact, we don't actually have servers for this. And it's a trade-off. So some other services will give you some really interesting analytics over time. But in exchange, you've got to upload all of your car's data to their servers. We went a different way, which is we're going to have a local app, stores your credentials securely in the keychain, and that's it. So we've been really deliberate about trying to make that a focused, clean product there.
Help me and help those out there. I guess in a dumbed down version, if you will. I hate to use that word, but for those of us who don't understand, because there are still a lot of people out there who know that there are all these apps like this one out there, for example, and in order for any of these apps to work, you've got to put in your Tesla credentials. And a lot of people have issues with that. So how does the security work? How can you reassure everyone who's watching that you don't have access to all of their credentials and their data?
Yeah, so let me first describe how we do it, and then maybe give you a little tip for folks that want to verify that themselves. So first, Tesla added what's called OAuth. It's just a way that anytime you've seen Google, Facebook, Amazon, these pages where it asks you to log in with one of your other accounts, you enter your account information into a page from Tesla. So when you first log in the Valet app, you're going to see a Tesla.com login screen, just like you would anywhere else. Then that's going to send us back this secure token, and we're going to store that in what's called the device's keychain. If you've got Touch ID on your Mac, that's an example of something protected with the keychain. Now, one way you can go double check, and we'd encourage folks to do this, is you can use products like Little Snitch as an example of one app that lets you see what network calls your computer's making. And you should run that and see that you're only going to see connections to Tesla.com. You're not going to see any connections to higherbarapps.com or some random server you don't expect, because again, we just don't take anything else off of your device.
I personally have used several apps and have never had any issues, but I know that that can be a big concern. So I appreciate you really kind of helping people understand that. And again, I think I want to maybe kind of go back to something you had mentioned earlier, and that is you are basically really only sending commands to the car. You're not necessarily asking for any data or any pertinent information that is going to be much of concern, right? I mean, is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, again, none of your information leaves your computer. So our app will load the data from Tesla. That will include things like where is your car? What's the name of your car? What's its VIN? We'll use that, of course, to go display that on the app. But then it's never stored. It's never used for anything else. So, it remains your private data. It's between you and Tesla.
Why would someone, I mean, if they've got access to their phone, I mean, we all have our phones with us 24/7, right? Even right next to us in our computers. So tell me why someone would want this for their Mac as opposed to something that's on their phone.
I mean, the first thing is convenience. You're already at your computer most of the day. Mac does a fantastic job of kind of giving you everything your iPhone has on your Mac. Like you have access to messages and mail and, they're all the handoff. They're trying to do everything they can to make it so you can put your phone aside while you're sitting at your computer. So we also wanted to give that ability to use the Tesla app without having to get your phone out, And then the other reasons is like it gives us capabilities to do stuff that the main Tesla app doesn't. A big one that we offer is our version of scheduling. We give you the ability to do navigation schedules, climate schedules, charging schedules, individual days. Like maybe say you go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So at 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we can have your car preconditioned. On Tuesday and Thursday, maybe you go to work at 9. So at 8:45, you want your car preconditioned. We have the ability to create other things that the Tesla app doesn't have, which is another great thing that we can offer.
What are some of the things that you see where this app is going to go in the future?
I'd say the biggest thing that we seek to go after is being the best Tesla app for your Mac. And usually what that means is as Tesla releases new capabilities, we want to be there as quickly as possible. They just released tire pressure showing up through the app. In fact, Jason and I both have the full self-driving beta, so we don't even have the tire pressure feature yet, but we've already shipped that support in Valet, and anyone can go try it out now. And we're always looking, what does Tesla give us? And then what could we do a little bit better? So for example, you can now in the Valet app configure a notification whenever your tire pressure runs low. Something that Tesla doesn't offer, but I would find over time my tires would drop a couple points and I'd always forget until I got, they were too low and would give me an alert. So that's another feature, we add for ourselves. We both love these cars. We, of course, drive them every day. So we're looking for what can we do to make the best of what Tesla provides to everyone. And sometimes that's just making the same thing as the phone app available on the Mac. Sometimes that's adding additional capabilities and going above and beyond.
So obviously there are a lot of people who have their opinions or thoughts on things you'd like to add. I'm assuming you probably take advice, or not advice, but maybe different ideas from some of your subscribers. You have people that say, "Hey, I'd love to see this. Could you maybe incorporate that?" How does all that work?
I mean, absolutely. That was obviously the actual reason we reached out to you and a bunch of other people, was just looking for feedback on like what we could do better, what suggestions you might have, what features maybe we might have not thought of yet, or something that, you use every day that we don't, that we could, provide for you. A perfect example is, like he said, we released the tire pressure, and we were unaware that in Germany they do their tire pressure in bar. And we assumed, like the most of Europe, they used KPA, which was not the truth. And so we received a tweet being like, hey, just wanted to let you know we use bar in Germany. Like, can you guys add support for bar? And so this morning I went and we added support for bar, and we will get that, sent over to the App Store as soon as we can. And again, just like Derek said, we're trying to make sure we have the latest and greatest features, and at the same time listen to what you guys want, because obviously if multiple people want the same feature, maybe it's just something we don't use but a ton of other people are going to use, like that's still valuable for us and for Valet.
There obviously people, no matter what it is, they want something for free, right? That's just the way things always work. People see an app, if they see it's free, they're excited. Once they see a price tag attached to it, what can you tell people to validate the price that they're paying for Valet? And the reason I don't want to really mention too much about the price right now is because that's going to change most likely over time. But what can you do? What can you tell people? Say, hey, listen, there's a reason why we have to charge whatever it is we charge.
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, developing these apps takes time and money. Just to start, you have to have a Mac. So a couple $1,000 right there. But I think, look, people have realized that the creator's time is valuable. And when you have a free app, you have to look at how are they getting paid. And if I was entering credentials for a $100,000 car into a free app, I would be wondering, why is this free? How is this service being offered? Where are they making their money? So we're pretty straightforward. We have two options. We have a subscription option, which is super affordable, and we have a one-time payment lifetime option. As I mentioned, Tesla releases new things every couple weeks, every couple months. So the subscription ensures that you're going to keep getting the latest and greatest. And for folks that just want to pay once, great. We've got an option for that as well. And you're going to find that's more affordable than almost any other Mac app for anything. You know, we're not trying to make a killing here. We're trying to make sure we can go share one of our passions and get people to go use it. It makes Jason and I excited when people reach out saying, hey, I love the app. Could you add this? We get fired up. We go spend the weekend and add it in and, you know, get a lot of our work done on Saturdays and Sundays.
I mean, I personally kind of feel the same way you do as far as saying, you know, your time is valuable, and the amount of work and effort that goes into developing something like this it's a lot of time, and that alone is worth something. And I certainly hope that people can understand that.
So all of a sudden they'll change something. We get an email 6 a.m. Hey, the app's broken. Jason and I both know that, you know, a couple minutes later, everyone's app's broken. So we're scrambling, doing 2-hour turnarounds on fixes that we get no heads up for. So there's challenges like that in this development.
I mean, it's sometimes big, like when the login change happened, when they started offering two-factor authentication, like that destroyed our app. Like we had to rewrite a massive chunk of the entire app because everything relied on the token that you got back that was now completely different.
Wow.
So like, you know, that's not only a spur of the moment change, that's like hours, days of work, like that needs to happen overnight, like taking time off of a real job, our normal job, to flip this around real quick. Or on the other side that people don't think about, remember when your mobile app broke and it just randomly Tesla went down that a couple of times? Well, what do you think happens to us? Well, our app broke too. So we're immediately getting 1,000 emails being like, your app's broken, your app's broken. And they're like, oh, the normal Tesla app's broken too. Like maybe everything Tesla's broken, you know, and then we figure that out, but we still have to respond to hundreds of emails being like, hey, it's Tesla's that's down. Like when their app comes back, our app will come back. Like we really apologize.
Really impactful to Jason and I. We're both new fathers, and you know that's changed a lot for us, as many of folks out there know. So it impacts our availability, but it also gives us a whole new set of reasons to use this product and change the way that we work with it. From two guys that were without children to two guys with children. People use their Teslas in very different ways, as we're now learning. So we're looking at ways to adapt the product with that. And safety is a little more top of mind. Maybe I wasn't monitoring my tire pressure as closely a year or two ago. Sounds a little silly, but these are examples of ways you just get a diversity of scenarios that you walk through. And we just want to make sure the product works for everyone.
All right. And that says it all right there. Making sure the product works for everyone. Now, it's clear that number one, these guys know what they're doing, and number two, understand the needs of their customers. As Tesla owners themselves, they understand that the car is constantly changing and improving with time as Tesla pushes regular software updates to each and every single car. Now, this will keep any Tesla app developer on their toes. And in the short time that I spent with Jason and Derek, I was able to see that their passion runs deep and want nothing more than an app that works as advertised, but also keep up with the constant changes Tesla throws at them, while also listening to their customers and making changes and improvements of their own. Now, is this an app for everyone? Of course not. Not everyone needs the ability to control their car from their computer, but if you own a Mac and like the idea of not only seeing the status of your car, but also sending commands to it, then look no further. This is a well thought out app and you won't be disappointed. And once the 7-day free trial period is up, I feel confident you will be more than happy to pay the one-time fee or the annual subscription. And if you're still not sure and want to see it in action, be sure to watch my next video when the developers give us a guided tour from top to bottom of everything the app has to offer. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.